stranger to the show, easily the most controversial in the UFC's welterweight division, the man who brings chaos. He suggested last week that we do a weekly segment, and what better time than right now after UFC 251, back by popular demand, Colby Chaos Covington. Colby, thank you so much for taking the time, and thank you even more for bringing your friends to the program. Great to chat with you again, man.
Yeah, I had to bring a beautiful mamacita to Submission Radio today to make Submission Radio great again.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Nerds and virgins.
Greetings, nerds and virgins.
Wow, I'll tell you what, it's going to make it hard to focus on the interview, but I'll do my best, Colby. Let's kick it off by talking about this main event that went down just yesterday between Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. It's officially in the books, and the big question and only logical question, the first thing to ask you is, what did you make of the way the fight played out?
The way the fight played out, I think UFC has a new name to it. It's called the Ultimate Footsie Championships. So, it was a pathetic performance. It put me to sleep, and it put all my friends to sleep as well. So Marty Fake Newsman, just like I said, he's boring as fuck, and he had a shitty fighter in Street Judas to make it even less entertaining.
We noticed on social media you tweeted out barn burner, instant classic. Who would have seen that coming? Take us into it. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I called it. Who called it? I said it was going to be a boring fight. He was going to ragdoll him. He was just going to take him down, and it was going to be boring. Street Judas, he was in Dustin Poirier's training camp, all training camp. So of course he was working his wrestling with Justin Poirier. We saw how his wrestling was against that hooker from Australia. He made that hooker from Australia look like Dan Gable. So, what I meant was, it was a shitty fight, and they put all the fans to sleep, and, it was obviously I was trolling them.
Mm-hmm. Ultimately, what did you think of Masvidal's performance in the fight? Was it more or less of what you thought would happen in this fight? Did a part of you even maybe expect a little bit more from him, even though he was coming in on short notice?
I don't know why everybody's running that narrative that he came in on short notice. He was training his whole camp with Dustin Poirier. He's been training for the last 6-7 months on his little fight island. He should have went to Telemundo and done the cornhole championships over there and reinvented himself, because last time he said he was on that island, he came back and, he was knocking people out and nobody could stop him. So, what I thought was, what I called. I should be taking my victory lap around the pool right now. What am I doing here on Submission Radio? I should be running around exactly how I told it.
You're turning on Submission Radio?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Before we let you go, we'll obviously have to find out what the plans are after this interview. But, I wonder, as someone who sort of studies fights and studies the game, a lot was made of when you and Usman fought. There wasn't as much wrestling as people expected. But after seeing Masvidal and Usman wrestle, what did you think of the wrestling exchanges? And did you learn anything about that? Any takeaways from the wrestling there?
Yeah, I learned a lot in that fight. And, I learned a lot the first time I fought Marty Fake Newsman. And I've made a lot of adjustments in my game. And, like I said, Colby Chaos Covington 2.0 is coming back. And, you haven't seen the best of me yet. So just another element and fold in the wrinkle that I got to see Marty Fake Newsman go to work. And, he's a boring fighter. That's why they call him Snoozman. And, that's what he did. He put the fans to sleep. And, he's playing footsies out there. It was the Ultimate Footsie Championship. He's stomping on his foot the whole time, just hugging him up against the cage, whispering stupid shit in Street Judas's ear the whole time. Who wants to see that shit? That shit's not entertaining. I feel bad for all the people that purchased their pay-per-view.
I guess the other interesting thing is that you and Masvidal, you've had a lot of mat time together, both sort of in the gym and when you guys were roommates. So the way Usman wrestled Masvidal, how would you compare that to when you and Masvidal used to wrestle back in training and, around the house and everywhere?
Yeah, I would compare that. There's levels to this shit, and Marty Fake Newsman is not on my level. And that's why I'm a little upset that I didn't wrestle him the first time, because I know he's not on my level wrestling, but I wanted to prove a point in that fight. I wanted to knock him out unconscious. But, seeing that fight and how much he struggled to take down the Street Judas, that's pathetic, dude. Street Judas was getting taken down by lightweights, by featherweights, by bantamweights, and Sunsao. He's been beat by everybody under the moon with double-digit losses, like 15 losses, so from people you never heard of. So the fact that Marty was struggling so much in the takedowns, and I've trained with Street Judas before, I know how bad he is with wrestling. You could blow wind at him and he'll fall over and be taken down. So to see Marty struggle so much showed me, you know, how bad Marty is at wrestling. There's a reason he was D2 and I was D1. And when I fight him in the next fight, you know, he's going to be exposed, and I'll expose his wrestling.
There's obviously Usman was able to win, and a lot of people giving him credit for that. But there's also a lot of fans who were disappointed by the fight. Do you believe his stock goes up or down after the fight that you saw this past weekend?
Oh, without a doubt, his stock went way down. No one wants to watch it. Who's going to pay $50 on pay-per-view or $60 on pay-per-view to watch that again, to watch an ultimate footsie champion, a guy taking a guy down and holding him? And what I think's even more funny is the ref in the fight was the same ref, the same corrupt piece of shit, that square-headed fuck from England, Mark Goddard. How the fuck does he get the same ref every single title fight? It makes no sense. And Mark was letting him be boring. You know, he was letting him sit and guard and do nothing. He wasn't punching, doing any activities. So, you know, it was pathetic to watch. And, you know, I don't think any fan's going to pay their hard-earned money to ever watch Marty Fake Newsman fight again.